Good morning, everybody. This is AKA Heather Joy, and you are on the lifeboat. Oh boy, guys, not feeling so good this morning. Oh, that race. Sometimes when I really exert myself, knocks me into a flare, and uh, been throwing up. It's been great fun, but hey, I'm here, and you know what? It's always a good day on the boat. So we're gonna do this. All right. Before I get started, let me run through the rules that we have here. First of all, please no politics when you're discussing things in the chat. The second one, it's fine. This isn't a religious channel. It's fine to say things like, hey, I'm going to pray for you, or I couldn't have found religion. I mean, I couldn't have found, oh boy, couldn't have found sobriety without my faith. But please don't say anything like, my God is better than your God, or anything like that, guys. All right. And I don't know where number three went. Oh boy. There it is. Number three, please refrain from cursing in the chat and the comment section. As Tommy always says, if you can't control your mouth, then you can't control your life. And number four, please no trolls. This boat has got all the room in the world, all the room we need for all of the addicts who are looking for sobriety. We've got all that room, but there is no room for mean people. Even if you're going to be mean, you're going to get banned. That's just all there is to it. Anyway, I would also ask you guys, please, please, please exit out of the chat. If you haven't hit that like button, give it a little love tap, and please share and subscribe. Thank you, you guys. And hey, I was surprised Tommy Tommy went on for for a few minutes. Now, as a nurse, I would have scolded him, but as his friend, and I'm really grateful that he went on. I never know what to say. You know, when people are ill, I don't know how much to reveal. So I was really glad that he came on and told everybody what was going on. And yeah, and he really looks good. He doesn't look like he's sick, does he? Except for the hospital gown. Anyway, we love Tommy, and I know that everybody, I know you guys are all praying for him just like I am, and I'm hoping that he will be home soon. But he was saying, I think I'll be on maybe tomorrow night. I hope he's not. I hope he just takes it easy. He needs time to rest and heal. But I know what the lifeboat means to him. This is his life's work. So anyway, it was cool to see him. Let's see, what else was I? Boy, I can't. There's something else I was going to throw in here. Right now, I can't remember. Anyway, let me see who is here. Quiet girl, Tika and Will. Good morning, Will. Have you been here before, Will? If you haven't, welcome. Goddess Divine, Counterfeit God 333. That's a new one too. Welcome. I am so glad you are here. Let's see, Blake, or as Tommy says, Balake, Charlie, and let's see, seventh is here. Oop, didn't mean to bump that. Let's see, who else? If I have missed you, I apologize. JT, good morning. And 2A, is that Tim? 2A is absolute. I love that. I love that handle. Good morning. And okay. Got a good group in here this morning. Oh, I remember what I meant to mention. Let me pop that up. You guys are the first priority always. So if you need to come on, if you need to talk, if you need help, just use that link, please. You guys, it doesn't matter what I have prepared or what's going on. You guys are top priority. That's why the lifeboat's here. So if you need help, please jump on. There's so many people here that will help. This is such a great place. Uh, Gosh, there's still something I'm forgetting, but maybe it'll come to me in a minute. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about emotional intelligence. This is something I think that as addicts, we all need this. We don't know how to handle our emotions. That's why we turn to drugs and alcohol and other things, other behaviors, to numb ourselves from pain, from emotions that we don't know how to deal with, that we don't know even how to identify. That that's what we do. And so this is something I think we all need to work on. And I found some really cool things having to do with emotional intelligence that I wanted to share with you guys. And I don't know if you're familiar with emotional intelligence, but in was it the 90s, the early 90s, there was a book that came out, and it was something about the emotional quotient, just like IQ, like an intelligence quotient, emotional quotient, it's kind of the same thing, but with having to do with your ability to handle your emotions and use your emotions in a good way, and how to identify the emotions in other people, that kind of thing. And the book, I never read it, but I read things about it, and it was talking about how people that are most successful don't necessarily have the highest IQ at all, but they do have a high emotional quotient. I've always been fascinated with everything to do with that. And let me just explain. Let me read to you a few of the definitions of what it, some good definitions of what it is, so you understand a little better. Emotional intelligence, the capability to be aware, of, control, and express one's emotions, and to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically. Okay, that's one definition I found. Another one, a little bit longer, that I found that I liked: the ability to perceive, use, understand, manage, and handle emotions. People with high emotional intelligence can recognize their own emotions and those of others, use emotional information to guide thinking and behavior, discern between different feelings and label them appropriately, and adjust emotions to adapt to environments. I really like that one. How do we do that? That's the thing. That's a little bit more difficult. So I'm find I found a couple of articles. Let me see here. Okay, I want to read you something that I found, and this is off of a website, Inc. INC period Inc. I believe it's some kind of a business type of, I don't know. I this is where I found it, but I want to read you what this guy said here that wrote this article. He said, I couldn't stop asking myself that question after months of, oh, okay, sorry. Okay, why now? That was his question. Why now? I couldn't stop asking myself that question. After months of slow business, I was suddenly getting inundated with tons of appointments and opportunities, more than I could manage. I felt overwhelmed, overtaken by negative thoughts. Now, as addicts, how often are we overtaken with negative thoughts? Okay. So, anyway, continuing, I felt overwhelmed, overtaken by negative thoughts. I started to complain, but complaining wasn't doing me or the business any good. I should have been seeing these opportunities as a good thing. Instead, I was trapping myself in a cycle of negative thinking, causing me to miss out on the opportunities I could handle. Maybe you see yourself in a similar situation. Do you ever get overwhelmed by thoughts or emotions to the point that you feel stuck and unable to move forward? That's how many of us feel like that. I know I do. I know I'm very easily overwhelmed. I mean, this move, oh boy, I'm so glad you guys can't see the mess that I have upstairs. And it is overwhelming right now. Trying to unpack boxes and decide where everything goes. Oh, good grief. And in the meantime, living out of boxes and trying to find the things that you need and all of that is just so much. And on top of that is cherries are in season right now. Free food in my yard. And I don't have the time to pick them and bottle them and all that. It's overwhelming. But I'm running around trying to figure out what to do, and I'm not getting anything done because I'm overwhelmed. So yeah, I understand. But anyway, if you feel like that, if you ever feel stuck where you can't move forward, this is where emotional intelligence can help. Okay. Yeah, it's like I've already given you some pretty good definitions of emotional intelligence. And it's the ability to understand and manage your emotions. And so the gentleman that has written this article, he says here, I like to use a series of rules or frameworks that make it easier for him to control his thoughts, um, to control his emotions, and then in turn get boy, sorry guys, in turn get control of his feelings and emotions. Okay, it makes it easier for him to get control of his thoughts in emotional moments. That's what I'm trying to say. And then he can get control of his feelings and emotions. So how do you do that? And he has a few rules. um, let's see, the first one that he uses is called the blue dolphin rule, and this is what he uses to stop negative thinking. Okay, now in psychology, there's something that they call the white bear problem. There was guys, I'm sure you're all familiar with the Russian writer Fyodor Dostoevsky. He came up with this concept, and this is like a century old essay that he wrote about the white bear. Okay, what the white what the white bear is um, when you try to suppress a certain thought, something pops in your head and you want to get rid of it. But the more you try to get rid of it, the more you increase that thought. You can't get rid of it. And they call that the white bear. That's what that is. So how do you conquer your white bear? Well, you need a blue dolphin. That sounds kind of weird. But he talks to this gentleman that has written this article. He talks about his white bear being that thought, why now? There's no way I can do all of this. Okay, now here's where the blue dolphin comes in. He replaces it with his blue dolphin thought, and instead of saying, why now? There's no way I can do all of this. His blue dolphin thought is, let me prioritize and work through this, one thing at a time. I really like that. I thought that was a really good idea, And so, what about you? What are your white bears that you just can't keep at bay? Try replacing them with a blue dolphin. I know that sounds silly, but I like this. And that helps me remember this too by imagining this white polar bear and then this blue dolphin. I don't know, those stick in my head, make it easier for me to remember this concept and to use it. Now, let me give you a few examples. A maybe a white bear would be, let's see, don't be nervous. Okay, you're telling yourself, don't be nervous. The more you tell yourself that, yeah, that's not going to help. Replace it. Here's the blue dolphin here. I am so excited. This is going to be great. It's just a slight change, a way of looking at it. So, okay, another white bear might be, oh no, another failed idea. Okay, there's your white bear. The blue dolphin replacement could be, okay, wait a minute, how can I learn from this? That's a good one. I like that one, and that makes me think of Jocko Willink, and anything that goes bad, he's always like good, you know, because he looks at it as, what can we learn from this? Here's an opportunity. That's how he looks at it. So I really like that one. Um, let's see. Another one, maybe I can't do this. And you can just replace it with, I can't not do this. I have to try this. Just, these are very, very simple, just a little bit of adjustments, but I really like that's an example of emotional intelligence. And that's a simple thing. Another thing that he uses is the milk carton rule. He uses this to move forward. So instead of dwelling on things that you can't change, you focus on what you can. Okay, now the milk carton rule is based on a problem from a psychology textbook, and in this problem, the husband repeatedly gets upset because his wife in the morning, she forgets to put the milk back in the fridge. So when he comes in, he pours his bowl of cereal and he goes to get the milk and it's warm. And he doesn't like warm milk. So he's complaining to his therapist about this. My wife, it's driving me crazy. I can't handle this. She's always leaving the milk out. And his therapist's suggestion is, rather than trying to change your wife's behavior, rather than focusing on that, because you cannot change someone else's behavior. He said, rather than focusing on that, just buy 2 cartons of milk. That's a simple solution. I mean, and I like that. So how about you? What are you dealing with? That is just you're so frustrated and overwhelmed and paralyzed. Um, ask yourself the following questions. What don't I have control over? And what do I have control over? Okay. There's a big difference, when it comes to other people. Everyone has their own agency. You cannot control what other people do. But like, we've talked about this many times before, but you can always, look at it differently. What do I have control over? When you're armed with that knowledge, that's when you can take action and actually solve the problem, or at least reduce your frustration a little bit. So I like that milk carton rule, and it really will help you to be more productive. If you can remember that, focus on the things that you can control. Focus on it, and if it's, even if it's just the way that you look at the situation, your attitude. As Viktor Frankl said, the only thing that we can control is our attitude. How we look at things, how we respond to things. And that's, again, that this is an example of emotional intelligence. And I really like this. I really like these ideas. So I want you to remember that. Maybe write these down. The white bear and the blue dolphin rule, and the carton rule. I mean, write those down. I mean, those are some good, easy ways to get control of your emotions. I like that. And then I found something else. And let's see. This I found this on this same website, Inc. And let's see. This one was written by a lady. And I want to read you what she said here. She says, as someone who runs a small business, it can be challenging to get away. Even if I take a vacation, the temptation's always there to check email, make sure everything is running smooth, or step in and solve even minor problems. But there I was, sitting in the living room floor of our vacation rental, a cute place on the beach in my hometown. I had managed to get away, and as I listened to my brother and my daughter strum the guitar, I was absorbed. I wanted to enjoy it, remember it, learn from it. Suddenly, I was reminded of a brilliant Japanese phrase that I recently learned. Um, now, okay, in Japanese, it's pronounced ichigo ichie. It's really difficult to translate it, but loosely translated, it means once in a lifetime. Now, she learned this phrase. She listened to a podcast. I guess it was the Reach podcast. I'm not familiar with that one, but there is a musician. His name is Kishibashi, and he's Japanese. And she was listening to him one morning, and he was talking about this once in a lifetime phrase. Ichigo ichie. And this is let me tell you what he says. He says it's about cherishing life every second at a time. Like, wow, that just happened. The outcome was not what I expected, but is beautiful for that reason. The concept of once in a lifetime it helped Bashi in his creative efforts. And he says, let's see, he said it was, really easy for artists to get hung up on trying to create a masterpiece. That's a huge thing to take on. I mean, and it can be that way with any artist. They want to create a beautiful portrait, or a writer, wants to write this amazing novel. That this is something that's going to take a long time. Okay. um, you can be very overwhelmed with the thought of that entire project. So this is where this ichigo ichie idea, once in a lifetime, comes in. Let's see, he says here, your art, your statement. If you write a novel, if you make an album, a painting, it's just a snapshot of your creative moment in time, says Bashi. And I think if you get that in your head, then it kind of frees up a lot of anxiety you might have always trying to achieve perfection, which is almost impossible. Um, what he's trying to say is, you need to not worry about the entire journey, the whole picture. You need to let yourself be absorbed in the moment, and and enjoy that and to the fullest. And that's where the magic happens. And if you can do that, time after time after time, you end up with a masterpiece when you string all those things together. I hope that's making sense. But we can use this in our lives so well. He says, let me finish reading here what he says. Let's see, this is a vital lesson. Often, what you perceive as a mistake is what makes your interpretation unique and authentic. And these are qualities that other people appreciate. So when you focus on the moment instead of the result, you allow your work to flow and your masterpiece to emerge. And I love that. I really love that. Each go, each year, once in a lifetime. This is powerful. It is really important to just be in the moment, and not worry about the entire result. No matter what you're doing, if you're absorbed in the moment, that's where the magic happens. And what is our lives, though, except for moments in time that are just strung together. And now, if each moment is something that you're fully absorbed in, that you enjoy, or if it's something difficult, you can still learn from it. And if you can remember all of those things, each moment, you string those together. Wow. you know um, but anyway, it continues in this article. It says how to be present and learn from others. Okay. And it says there's another advantage to this concept of once in a lifetime. And it really does, it helps you to be present um, when you are present with, when you're spending time with other people, so that you can learn from them. And, it's a really good reminder today because our phones are so distracting, and when you are speaking with someone, how do you feel when they're not paying attention to you, when they're not looking at you, when you're speaking to them and they're looking down, they're looking at their phones. I hate that. When I'm speaking to someone, I like to look at them in the eyes. I like to, to just be there. And it really bothers me, when they're staring at their phones. My husband learned long ago that I won't put up with that. If there's something that I need to speak to him about, he now automatically puts his phone down or shuts off what he was doing so that he can pay attention to me. And I really appreciate that. But anyway, this is a good reminder for today because our phones really, really are distracting. And it talks here about multitasking, and a lot of people say that they can multitask, but research really does prove that you can only focus on one thing at a time. Really, in your head with your thoughts. If you are doing something like washing the dishes, or something that doesn't require a lot of thought, then you can multitask, thinking about something else while you're doing that. But your brain is focused on what it is you're thinking about. That you do have muscle memory and things can become automatic, but really you can't have multiple thoughts in your head at once. And so, if you're being distracted with your phone, you're not paying attention, if someone is speaking to you, and that's just the way it is. Um, let's see, let me continue here with this article. It says here the final lesson about this once in a lifetime ichigo ichie idea. Every moment is unique and it has value. Okay. It says here, allow yourself to be absorbed in the moment. From say M Hunt. I don't know if he's even. I haven't looked. I don't think he's in here this morning, but I know he loves it when he spends time with his little girl, and that'd be prime opportunity to just be there in the moment and absorb it. It talks about really every moment is unique and has value. If you recognize that, um, be absorbed in the moment, and then afterwards take time to reflect on whatever moment you were in. If you allow yourself time to reflect on it, it's going to help etch it into your brain. And it talks about, this is really good for wonderful things, but it's also good for bad things. If you are in a situation that is very unpleasant, it's still really important that you spend time and you reflect on it and you etch it into your brain, because that's something that you can remember next time. Wait, I need to avoid that. But this is just another way of practicing emotional intelligence. And boy, I really liked those articles. I thought they gave some powerful but simple ways of dealing with strong emotions. And yeah, I really like that. And hey, Rick, good morning. And Scooby, John Doe is here now, and Allison and Ian and full of hope. Good morning. Let's see who else has popped in here since I wasn't looking. Let's see, Patrick. Good morning. And Kelly. Good morning. Anybody else? Give me Right. Trish, good morning. I'm so glad you guys are here. You guys are the best. You know that? Okay. Well, you guys, that is really all that I have this morning. And I'm not feeling my best. I hate fibromyalgia sometimes. It really is. I am so much better off than I used to be. That's for sure. But that race on Saturday has really thrown me for a loop. I hate when I get like this. Just feels sick. I've been puking for a while. Don't like it. So I'm going to be um, going off. I'm going to be shutting things down a little bit early, but I'm going to be here for a few more minutes so you guys have time to talk to each other. And um, I love it. I just can't believe Tommy, little stinker, popped on. But I hope he's feeling better, and I really do hope he's out soon. I know he would love more than anything to just be home with Squirrel, and I'm sure Squirrel is probably very furious that he's not there. You know how torties are. They're kind of funny. We have one. We actually have a little tortie out just over this way on their chicken farm. It's so funny. It was just my husband found this little girl. Just it was a tiny little ball, just cute little furry ball, and it was about dead. And I don't know where it came from because there was just one, and he found it when he went to do the chores one morning, and he thought this little thing was dead, and he kind of nudged it with his boot and it moved a little bit. So he ran home, and I have some um, kitten milk, the replacement milk, and he got that and the little bottle, and he started to feed it. I have pictures somewhere of it. It's the cutest thing. I need to show you guys. But he nursed this tiny little kitten and brought it back from the dead. I mean, he took really good care of it. He did everything. When they are that tiny, the mother has to lick their rear end area, just to get them to defecate. I mean, and he knows um, it was really crazy that he even attempted this because when he was a little boy, um, his um, his cat had kittens, and he was so attached to all of them, and he just loved this little litter of kittens and the mother cat. And there was a really wicked, oh, troubled kid in their neighborhood where he lived at the time, and that kid put the litter kittens in a cooler and shut the lid. And my husband found it and really threw him for a loop. And ever since then, he really has a hard time attaching himself to cats. I've had cats my entire life. And when he and I got married, that never changed. We've always had cats here, and I've always watched him. He's always been very, um, he just doesn't get attached to them. I mean, he doesn't pet them. He's not mean to them. He'll feed and water and whatever, if he needs to, but he's not loving with them. So I was shocked when he had this little cat, but it's just this little tortie. And, he nursed it, brought it back from the dead, and it's one of our farm cats now. In fact, I need to go get her fixed here pretty soon. It's time, but it's very small, and when she when she meows, she's got this really coarse, really rough meow. It's kind of funny. It sounds like she's been smoking or something, but really, really sweet thing. And he named it Kid. Of all the names, I don't know why, but he just calls it Kid, and it's kind of funny. But that's our little tortie and our little mouser, and she keeps the mice out of the feed, and hangs out with all the chickens. All the chickens know her, and she goes that we've got a few fighting roosters that we rescued, and we have to tether them by one of their legs and keep them. They have a tether, and they have plenty of room to move around and everything, but you can't let them get near each other. They will kill one another. It's just the way they are. And the kid will walk right up to these fighting roosters, and they don't mind kid, and kid doesn't mind them. She'll go and she'll eat their food sometimes. I don't know. I know that they put a lot of grain in cat food, so I guess that's why. But sometimes she'll eat their food, and she'll walk up to these fighting roosters and drink right out of their bowls and everything. It's so sweet. It's so funny. But yeah, we have a few farm cats over there, but what sucks is that people a lot of times will dump their litters off that they don't want, and so we have to gather them all up and take them to the animal shelter. And but anyway, it is what it is. It's all good. Anyway, I'm gonna sign off, you guys. I really don't feel so good right now. But I will be back on this evening, and I want to thank Goosebump and Quiet Girl. I guess Goosebump isn't here this morning, but they both reached out to me, and I'm going to have Quiet Girl on here very soon, and we're going to do an interview, and she's going to share her story with us. So, thank you to all of you. Oh, there is Goosebump. There you are. Thank you. I'm going to have you pop on with me too. Thank you for reaching out to me. You guys are the best. You really are. Anyway, please pray for Tommy. We hope he gets home very soon. I'm very tickled he's not in any pain, and he looks really good. He doesn't look like he's ill except for the hospital gown. Anyway, you guys have a great morning. Thank you for popping on here this morning. I will see you guys again this evening.